Hey everybody, we are in our new workshop. So this is the first video. We're not fully set up yet. There's probably going to be a crazy echo, and also our mic's broken. So, you know, just setting up for the normal video. We did order new equipment, so we're going to have new sound, new lighting, all sorts of new stuff. We just needed a bigger space, and now we have it. But we have these beautiful windows to my right, and we have a ton of plants, as you guys know. So we're going to make, Melissa at Dad Hands made this really cool leather plant holder like they made in the 70s. And we have a bunch of Buckle Guy hardware, and we're going to make a couple because we need to get some of our plants off the ground to put machines under the windows. So I have a bunch of 3/4 inch veg tan straps. You can cut them yourselves, or Buckle Guy sells a bunch of different pre-cut strap options in like 1/2 inch to 1.5 inch. I think 2 inch too. You can make belts, but you can grab some 3/4 inch straps from them. To make this, I have one giant ring that I have no idea where it came from. The rest is from Buckle Guy. These are 1 1/4 inch O-rings, center bar buckle, all 3/4 inches, some snap clips, and then these are called double loops. And I really like the double loops. This is going to be our pivot point between where the strap goes this way for the pot and this way towards the single hanging point. So all I'm going to use for this project is a maul, a strap end punch, a hole punch, and if you do buy, I cut the straps myself, so if you have a hide of leather, I'm just using strap cutter, 3/4 inches. I'm actually using a 1 inch strap end punch to get a little bit more of a shallow curve. But basically, I'm working off of rough plans, and the first thing we need to do is get 4 straps attached to this bottom ring, and this is going to go under our plant and support it. So our next step, we got to get these attached to our ring. Now this is a huge ring. This is 2 inches, and you're going to kind of need it if you want to pass 4 straps through. Now we're using 7 1/4 ounce leather, 7 8 ounce leather. I'm going to be punching these all because it's for our shop. I'm not going to do much measuring. But this is a great project for like craft fairs and stuff. So this is going to be my template. And all I'm going to do is pass these measurements on to the other 3. And then we will get these riveted. And I'm keeping the other ends long because I want to make it specifically to that little pot. We have a lot of plants in that pot size. So as that spider plant doesn't seem to grow much. I feel like we're the only ones in the world that have a spider plant that doesn't like to grow. But as it grows out of that, we'll put something else in it, and we can keep hanging it from the same hanger. We're making this, one of the beauties of this kind of project, not this project specifically, I've never made one of these before, but you don't have to do any measuring really. We're just making it to the size of this little pot here. So we know that this is going to be under the pot. And I'm just going to come up to about here, because we're making a pivot point now. The strap's going to go up, then it's going to have to turn and come in, and we're going to use a piece of hardware because we're using kind of thick leather. If you're using thinner leather, which you can do for a small pot like this, you don't necessarily need to add this pivot point. The leather will just bend on its own, but I'm going to add the pivot point since this is kind of chunky leather. So all I'm going to do is basically go to about there, and I'm just holding it with my hand. And I'm going to make a little mark like that. Then I can go through and just transfer that mark to all 4 of my straps. So on the opposite side, we're going to slide in our double loop. And you can use 2 rivets. I'm just going to use 1 because it's not really that heavy of a plant. But if you're doing this for bigger plants, I would definitely use 2 rivets. And I'm going to do the same thing basically. I'm just going to kind of go off the cuff, mark a nice spot, and then transfer that to the other 3 and punch them out. So I'm going to put a rivet in on the double loop side, and we're using the Buckle Guy press. If you watched the last video, you know how much we love this thing. And we'll put that there. We're going to do all these first, and then we'll put them all on that big loop, because that's going to be, with a 2 inch loop it's not too bad. I did try it, I tried a sample and it's really not that bad. I'm using 19mm double cap rivets. Just use whatever fits and use a fairly large rivet if you're using pop rivets. You could also do this with normal handset rivets if you want. Since this is such a small plant, I think that would be a little overkill for this, but if you want to hang like a big pothos or something that has some weight to it, I would definitely consider solid rivets instead of tubular. This is going to be the bottom, and I'm just going to get this set up first so we can go and just boom, 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 knock out all 4 rivets. It's probably easier to do this all at once though, so you can make sure that everything fits. Now this is kind of cool. Melissa did this, and I've seen other people do it too, where so you have the circle in the bottom, and the pot that I have a little drainage pot because I don't want to get the floors wet, but if you're doing these for like a place where you have trays under them or whatever you would do, you could put your, this is in the center, so your drainage holes in your pots will go right through this, which is, as people who have had a lot of houseplants for a very long time can tell you, always avoid, if you can, the pretty ceramic pots with no drainage holes, because that's how you kill everything. Make sure you have holes in your pots. I need one more cap. I ran out of cap. So this might not work, but we haven't done a video in a while where we're just kind of going off the cuff, so we're going to go with it and see what happens. So I'm lining this up. Yep. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rivet this together in an X shape. The next thing we're going to do is I have an O-ring. This is a 1.25 inch O-ring, but you could use, actually no, we should use a D-ring for this. Yep. D-ring is the move. So we have a D-ring. I'm going to mark the location of our rivets, and then we're going to rivet those into place. Feels like I'm building a leather octopus. Measured 12 inches on each one of these, and I'm just going to punch all of our ends here.
Sorry, my filming's a little off today.
It's okay. We're getting used to the new space. Simple project, getting used to the new space.
Like seeing where the light goes.
Yeah, we have light. So this space is different because our old space was the windows were due south. In our new space, the windows are due west. The choice was either due east or due west, and I do not wake up early enough to film when the sun is on the east side. So we have lighting. It's going to be great. So everything is cut to the right size. I want to show you guys this. This is how the joint ended up. I'm pretty happy with it. So it's got 3 rivets holding together, which I think should be plenty strong, but you could always double up the rivets if you don't trust them, or use solid rivets. And so it's just going to hang from this, and then we'll make another strap, which will be optional. You could just hang this on a hook in your window if you have shorter windows. We just happen to have like windows with windows above them in this space. So I'm going to make a strap with a couple of clips that should do the trick there. Now, the next goal is to fit, basically do this again on this side, right? So we're going to slide these through, kind of get them as even as we can, and just punch and rivet. And then we'll have our whole plant holder part, and all we have to do is make our strap. All right, so the pot doesn't really weigh enough, but it is very adorable. So here is the main version. We could easily put a much bigger pot in this, which I kind of like because I can just keep this plant as it grows. I could probably size up to like a 6-inch pot, and this would fit it just fine. But you see where my finger is, this is going to be our hanging point. Now, if you have smaller windows, you could just hang this from a hook. We do not. So I need to make a strap, and we are going to use a couple of these guys. Snap hooks. We're going to make a strap with a buckle so we can adjust how far down our plant hanger is, and then we'll be done. Kind of oversized holes for our little buckle, but they'll do the job. Now on this piece, we need to set our buckle, and I left a little bit of length for us. So I'm going to put my buckle where I want it, kind of push down so that I have my divot here. And I want this to be about an inch, maybe a little bit more. So I'm going to punch a 1/2 inch over that divot and a 1/2 inch under that divot. And then I'm going to use my blade here to just connect the two and cut out a nice little slot. And you might not want to go, so what I'll do is, I'll do this in 4 cuts. I'll cut from the circle away from it on both sides. Now what that does is, if you try to complete this cut over here, you can cut into this leather, and over time that can tear. And then I always like to, you gotta be careful with this, but I always like to be able to see where I'm cutting. I don't like cutting blind, so I'm gonna keep the ruler on the outside here. And this may not be super pretty, but you'll see once we fold it over, you really can't ever see, obviously if you have a slot punch, I'll show you what a slot punch looks like. Those are ideal for jobs like this because it's one hit and you have your slot punched, but this also does the job. So we want a roller on the top. We put our tongue in the slot. We slide this down and we have a perfectly installed, or a perfectly ready little slot punch for our buckle. So if we did this right, we'll slide this through here, put it in the center one. So this is our adjustability depending on window height. Like that. Then we'll take our plant. Oh God, it's so small. There we go. We got our plant. We're gonna take our clip, like this. I'm coming down. All right, so we have our hook here. I'm gonna hang this, and you can see it's a little long. So all we have to do is adjust our buckle. Bring that up. And I'd say we're good to go. There we go. Little plant hanger. Quick first job. This is the first thing we've made in the new workshop. And something that's super easy to make out of scrap at home, or Buckle Guy does sell the really nice straps, so you don't even have to get a strap cutter or anything. You just buy straps to make one that way as well. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one when we'll be more set up than we are now in the new shop.